We've talked about some learnings kind of throughout in each kind of these sections, but are there some bigger, are there some broader learnings that we can kind of talk through at all?
Yep. So I would say, what would be the best starting point? I would say, one, this should not live in a Google Doc. As much as we love and hate Google Docs, it's very hard to get a company excited by sending a Google Doc their way and having them read it. It's got to be in a deck. And I think the biggest learning for us, like most things that we do, the copy informs the design, not the other way around. So we've been working from just call it a pretty hideous deck that we've defined ourselves, because we've been laser focused on the copy. And then once we got really tight on the copy, that's when we kicked off design. So I'd say that would be a big learning for me. And then I think this was something, I mean, it really came up within the last, let's say, 3 days, but we used the press conference as what DG said is like a marketable moment. So we had the B round announcement, which is great and we're excited about and thankful for, but no one really cares about fundraising at the end of the day. So rather than pump our chest for raising a $40 million B round, it was kind of an afterthought in our announcement. And we used the narrative as really this marketable moment and trying to just build momentum on that. It's, hey, this is not the first time or last time that you're going to hear about this. This is the first of many times that you're going to hear about it. But you will start to see this each month come up in a slightly different fashion so that we can continue to reinforce it. And that was new to me because I'd never really experienced this before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, one of the lessons for me too, is really around this consistency of messaging and why, that's important for a growing company or really any company. And how this work will really help us, as we started to grow really fast, and we've seen this, listening to gong calls and stuff, the sales reps are pretty much on message, but it's starting to fan out a little bit, it's fanning out, and, every rep is different, right? And we have a fairly complicated product, it does a lot of complicated things. And so every sales rep comes with different experiences, different backgrounds, and they probably talk about it in a way that makes sense to them. You know what I mean? And if that's happening, then prospect A will think of your tool or your platform different than prospect B, and when you don't have that consistent message, the consistent messages should be ones that we have tested, that we know work with a majority of people. And so there's a reason why we use these. And when you go off that message, okay, these aren't really, it's going to cause confusion potentially, but also we know these don't work as well. They don't resonate as well with people because we've already tested it. So that was one of the things that I think it's a learning, but also just make sure you understand the importance of consistency and message and how this can help drive that.
Yeah, and I think it's I think it's part of our hesitation around, not hesitation, but why it's made us uncomfortable is it can come across, or I think it can come across as annoying when you're hammering people over the head with the same message every single time. But you kind of need to do that so that people, you're reinforcing it to that audience at the end of the day. And without that, it's I'm hearing this over here and that over here. Well, what does metadata do? I can't really tell. And it's just reinforcing what we do. We can say it differently, but it's got to be the same exact story about metadata so that people pick up on it.
Yeah. And we're starting to get some of that, technical, repetitive, and mundane tasks. You know what I mean? You'll hear that from us over and over and over. And there's reasons behind that. And so, my throat. So one day I can't remember what I'm saying. The next day I'm coughing up a lung. I don't know what's going on. So a couple of ways that we're kind of what we're doing with this now. So we actually have an offsite coming up, a company offsite coming up next week. And we're using that as a time to really start to get people rallied around this and really deliver that message to everybody. And so I know in our offsite, it's a 2 day, we've got 2 hours, and they're going to be pretty hard hitting sessions, you know, like Dave Gearhart and I talking about the importance of storytelling, like really to kick off our whole, damn it, to kick off our whole week or, you know, the whole offsite. And then the second day, really getting into the narrative and having Gil, you know, deliver a big part of his story as well to the staff, you know, in his own words. And so, yeah, so that's some of the next things. And then I know, you know, getting customer facing people certified on this, you know, and so like we'll give them some materials, we'll give them a lot of supporting things, practice, and then I think we're going to have people record themselves pitching it, and we're going to, you know, basically, I think that's how we're doing it, or some kind of a test.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we're doing. Some of the things we're doing next.
Yeah, I think there's the sales side, which is the training and the certification of everyone, and then there's what you're going to see from a marketing side. So you're going to see new pages on the site that reinforce this. You're going to see existing pages be updated so that it's consistent. You're going to see more product awareness campaigns around this. Like, you will start to see this message more in market because people are aware that they're struggling and drowning in technical, mundane, and repetitive tasks, but they don't know that this is something that you can fix. Like, there isn't a tool like this. So the education process takes a little bit longer, and we know we have to get in front of that.